Good evening to all my hoodies. Welcome back to the Hood Table one more again. Please make sure you like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you are not already subscribed. Please and thank you very much. Now, what we are going to discuss today is unintentional shootings by children, to children, or among children. Because, as some of you might have heard over this past year, there has been an alarming spike in numbers to children who have been shot accidentally in the home or children who have shot someone else accidentally in the home due to not practicing gun safety. Now, first of all, I want to show you guys this news clip that I saw in the news the other day. Just a few days ago, a 2-year-old boy was playing with a gun inside his grandmother's house in North Carolina, and he accidentally shot his father to death. This was a few days ago, Sunday night. So take a look at this short video clip.
At 5, a family is heartbroken. A little boy will grow up without his father after he was shot and killed in his own home.
And adding to that grief, it was the 2-year-old little boy who accidentally pulled the trigger. Fox 46's Morgan Francis is live in Gastonia tonight. And Morgan, how did the family say this all unfolded?
Yeah, Lindsay, they're just shaken up about all of it. They say 29-year-old Markovia Durham just got the gun, and he normally keeps it hidden from his kids, but this time he didn't, and it cost him his life.
The daddy was sitting on the couch, and the baby got up on the couch and got the gun from behind, picked the gun up from behind the daddy, picked the gun up, not knowing that it was a real gun, and put it to the daddy's back and pulled the trigger, thinking the gun was a toy.
Family is still in shock over what happened inside this apartment on West 5th Avenue in Gastonia Sunday night. Phyllis Holland says her 2-year-old great-grandson shot and killed his dad, 29-year-old Markovia Durham. She says Durham just purchased the gun.
He kept the gun away from him. At that moment, he just wasn't thinking.
The noise so frightening, the toddler ran out the door. Neighbors say police officers swarmed this apartment complex around 9:30 p.m.
That little boy is going to go through something for the rest of his life, and it just hurts me because I have grandkids of my own.
Today, there were still pieces of crime scene tape on the ground outside the door. Holland says the family isn't placing blame on anyone. Right now, they're just trying to explain to the 2-year-old who keeps asking for his dad why he isn't around.
He wanted his dad there. He's only a 2-year-old. He don't understand.
The Gastonia Police Department hasn't said if anyone will face charges in the fatal shooting. Department of Social Services employees were at the scene today asking family members questions. Meanwhile, those who live around here are repeating the same message tonight.
Keep your kids away from loaded guns.
Now, normally anyone who doesn't properly store a firearm away from the reach of a minor could face a misdemeanor, but officials haven't said in this circumstance if anyone else could potentially face charges. Reporting live in Gastonia, I'm Morgan Francis, Fox 46.
Okay, you guys, when I first saw that story, when I first heard about it, my heart just broke for not just the person who died, but for the child, for his father, for the grandmother, everybody, who is in that child's life, because like they said, this is something that child will have to grow up to find out that he was the reason why his father isn't here anymore. And they said how close their relationship was, the little boy and his father, how they had a very, very close relationship. It is so saddening because of the fact that it's so easy for a child to come into contact with a gun if we, the parents, are not practicing gun safety. And on the flip side, it's so easy for us to practice gun safety. There are so many ways how we can prevent things like this from happening. Like me, myself, personally, I have a grandson. He's only 3 months old. I do sometimes throughout the year throw parties, barbecues, holidays, friends come over with their kids. So kids are frequently, in and out of our house throughout the year. And I have to practice gun safety myself. I have several gun case lock boxes. I keep some in the house. I keep some in my car. I do keep the one in my car, mainly because there are some places that we know you can't carry a gun. And yes, I do have a CCW. I have a concealed weapons license because I believe in protecting myself, and I like to be able to carry my gun wherever I go. But of course, you can't take it to churches, hospitals, courtrooms, police station, libraries. There's certain places you can't take a gun. So that's why I keep a box in my car as well. And when I pick up my grandchild, the gun is locked up. Even though he's only 3 months old, he can't, get to the gun. But just this story that we just saw, this happens a lot. And again, as I said in the beginning of the video, there has been an alarming spike in numbers over this past year. And one of the reasons they say is because of the pandemic. Because a lot of kids being locked down and being bored, not having nothing to do, being curious, and a lot of parents who keep their guns at home without having them locked up, a lot of children have been involved in unintentional shootings, either resulting in the death of a child, a death of an adult, or somebody seriously, seriously injured. And I want to show you guys this other story really, really quickly that involves a little boy who accidentally shot himself.
Boy is a living miracle 6 years after he accidentally shot himself. And today, he and his family are helping raise awareness about gun safety, hoping to prevent another accidental shooting. CBS 4's Brooke Schaefer is live in Miami with this story. Brooke?
Hey, Keith. Well, this afternoon we learned some alarming statistics. A recent pediatric study found that about 1/3 of firearm injuries that end up in the ER and at hospitals like this one are unintentional. So today, an important reminder for parents to make sure they are asking the right questions. Today, Darnell Mundy is a healthy 9-year-old. But 6 years ago, a discovery at his home in Miami could have ended his life.
In 2015, 3-year-old Darnell Mundy climbed onto a chair in search of an iPad. Instead, he found a gun and accidentally shot himself in the head.
His parents rushed the then 3-year-old boy to Ryder Trauma Center. He spent several months in therapy at Holtz Children's.
He was told he was not going to be able to walk, talk, and look at him now. He's talking, walking. He's progressing very fast.
The now elementary schooler is a miracle and a living reminder of the importance of gun safety, especially with kids at home. On Monday morning, Holtz Children's Hospital, along with Miami-Dade Public Schools and the Injury-Free Coalition for Kids of Miami, teamed up for Ask Day, which stands for Asking Saves Kids.
The access that children in our community have to firearms in their own homes or the homes of neighbors is not acceptable. But it's absolutely avoidable if we take the right precautions.
Precautions like keeping guns locked, unloaded, and safely stored away. The day is also a reminder to talk with other parents to make sure stories like Darnell's don't happen again.
I've been watching the news a lot lately, and there's too many kids out there that's also being in the same situation as Darnell.
And today they recognize that those questions, those conversations, they might be a little bit uncomfortable, but they can absolutely save lives.
After watching that video, I first want to say I am so glad that that little boy did not succumb to his injuries. I'm so glad that he was able to survive. He was able to go through therapy and regain his walking and talking. And I'm just so glad because it could have turned out very, very much differently. And I like what they said about asking. Now, again, for people like me who have guns at home and have children who frequent their home, it's very, very important to keep your guns locked up. Very important. But also asking your children's friends, your relatives, your cousins, your neighbors, anywhere else that your child might be staying, sleeping, spending the night, visiting for any amount of time. You should ask, is there a gun in the house? How do you protect the children from getting access to the gun? It's very important. You have to ask. You have to. Because a lot of kids are at home doing nothing. I mean, school is about to start, and a lot of places school has started. But just because school has started and a lot more kids aren't going to be at home the majority of the day, we still need to self-consciously practice gun safety. I am all about being able to protect yourself from hurt, harm, and danger, from intrusions, from burglaries, from, carjackers, from, whatever, might occur that you might need to protect yourself. And so I'm also not only advocating for gun rights for people who feel like they deserve to have a gun, but I'm also advocating for the safety of our children, the safety of our youth, and unintentional shootings. And it's not just the youth. As you saw in that first story, that little boy, 2 years old, he's going to have to grow up and hear about it probably a lot throughout his life. How the reason why his father isn't around is because of him, because of the fact that that little 2 year old was able to access that gun. And I'm sure the father who was killed, I'm sure when he put that gun behind his back, he probably wasn't, I don't know, he probably wasn't thinking that the little would be behind his back. But still, it's not gun safety at all. The gun should be untouchable when it comes to children. Untouchable, unreachable. But in situations like that where subsequently the father died, my heart again breaks for that family, especially that little boy who will have to grow up without no father. And on that note, everybody, please make sure you like the video, share the video, subscribe to the Hood Table if you're not already subscribed, and please practice gun safety.